Rona and they shit.
Recording has started.
Okay. So the first question is, what are things you liked from how your parents raised you?
What are things you like?
A damn thing.
A strong work ethic.
And what'd you say, Mom? Mom.
Hold on. We trying to get the TV turned down.
Can you put your face on
the question is, what are
Wow,
things?
Natasha, so unprofessional.
Shut up, right? What are things that you like that how your parents raised you?
Yeah.
Man, they always, I like that. They always tell me, get it how you live. No judgment. Get it how you live. It's hard out here in this world.
What are you saying?
Hugs, love, and affection.
Dean said hugs, love, and affection.
Why isn't your camera on, Mom?
Because her hair ain't done.
Who said that? Shut up.
For me, all right. Hugs, love, and
you heard him. Big Dean said hugs, love, and affection. I say love, support, and hard work.
Okay. For me, I would say resilience. Hard work. Loyalty and love. Nay, what do you say?
Know the way I feel about my parents, but I would say they definitely taught me love, hard work, and that's kind of about it that I got from my parents.
love will get you.
Dean said love will get you through it.
Right on. So there are 4 types of parenting. You got authoritarian, which is the disciplinarian. Cough, cough. You got permissive.
Don't be talking about me. How you say that?
It's not we got permissive, which that's the type of parent that lets you do anything basically. You have uninvolved, which means you're just absent from the child, and then you have authoritative, which is more of the nurturer. Like they set their boundaries, but they lead with nurturing. So what type of parent are you? Or if you're not a parent, what type of parent do you think you would be? I'm going to let the parents
I don't think I should get myself involved in this question because I don't think I'm going to have kids.
There you go.
There you go again.
Well, I'm just being honest.
Dean said
a nurturer, always a nurturer.
Dean said he's a nurturer.
Okay, so he's authoritative.
Whatever.
I think I'm a nurturer.
With boundaries.
Dean said he's a nurturer with boundaries.
Okay, and Nay, what do you?
I'm the same. I'm not.
You're a what? Oh, her connection went out. But for me, I think I would be authoritative.
So I'll let you answer the question since I'm your mother. So what am I?
Hella authoritative.
Mom.
Tell me,
Authoritarian
Natasha.
times 10.
On what?
Telling me,
Authoritarian
Natasha.
times 10.
I can't hear you, Lexus. You gotta talk louder.
Authoritarian.
You really think
Times
I am?
times
Yes.
No. Okay.
But
You see how she said that? Okay.
But
but you gotta splash with the nurturer, but you lead with disciplinarian.
I'll take that.
You'll take that?
That's about right. I can be nice. How you gonna tell me I
you
can be nice
can be nice when
sometimes?
you say
Natasha, you are evil.
I am not evil.
I love you though. I love you though, cuz.
I
It's
love
good
you too,
though.
cousin.
Y'all
But I'm
crazy.
not evil.
She's not
But
Yeah.
evil.
these kids, sometimes these kids be testing your gangster, so you
Right, these
gotta
children.
just
right.
These children.
these hey, they be testing. And it's just that my husband is so laid back and he don't be seeing the big picture.
I see the big picture.
Right.
But it's
Can I get a
real.
bowl to go,
He
please?
he
Yeah.
might see the big picture just in a different
White
light
rice.
on how he
A-
wants to handle it.
Absolutely correct, Alexis. I see the big picture.
He lets these kids get away with
I,
everything.
I don't see the reason to go absolutely insane and overreact when it's not that serious though. Yeah. It's time to be serious and overreact, but uh, do it at that time, not just when you feel like it. I'm not him.
That's real. So now we're gonna get a little bit in like relationship questions. So
Wait. Before you get into relationships, John isn't on here, but since I'm a new mother, what advice do you guys give me for being a new mother? And what advice would
Okay.
you give me as a child?
So what was your you said what advice?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say that always don't be too hard on yourself, and there's no perfect parent out there. You're gonna learn something new every day. There's not a rule book for parenting because every child that you have is gonna have a different personality. So one child might take spanking and then straighten up, where there's another child who's stubborn as hell, and you can spank them and they still gonna do what they want to do. So you just have to learn as you go.
That's me. That's me.
You definitely have to learn as you
No,
go, and
people.
and never
Yeah, yeah.
be ashamed to ask for help when you're getting overwhelmed, because there will be some days where you get overwhelmed, and reach out to whoever your resources are and just speak up.
I
That I
say
definitely got.
always
'Cause I definitely get
always try to have open communication with your child. I would let my child know that even though I might not like it, what they say, that they can still always tell me anything.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Whew. We about to go eat good tonight. Chipotle, Chipotle, Chipotle.
You went to Chipotle?
Yeah, since you ain't out here cooking for me.
Huh?
Yeah, since you ain't trying to be out here cooking for me, I had to go to Chipotle.
Not what you want to go eat no Chipotle? No.
Well, I had to go eat Chipotle because you ain't trying to cook, so it's good.
I just cooked.
Well, I didn't get a plate, so
Oh, a nurturer for a new any parent, any new child.
I can
My best advice is take it one day at a time. Can't think about next week or just have the best day you can have with your child that day because it's overwhelming
I have a
if you think
headache.
you have 18 years of this shit. So one day at a time, just child, one day at a time, do the best. Do the best you can do. One day at a time. Don't think about next week.
Yeah, that's smart.
That's my philosophy in life. One day at a time. Just today. Let me just have a good day today, or to make the best out this shitty day today that I can, but do the best today. And tomorrow gonna come. We know that. And if it don't, we all know what happens.
That's real.
One day at a time.
That's good advice.
Very good advice.
Thank you.
So, okay, I got a question then. What do you do if you guys aren't agreeing the discipline?
I can't hear you because it keeps like.
Hold on.
Somebody connection is horrible.
It's Nays, I think. Hold on.
Don't blame her. Blame your connection.
Ooh, it's recording, so I'm gonna be nice. So, what's your advice when the parents don't agree on how to discipline their kids in that moment?
Mm.
The man always wins. The man always, if it's a man there, the man always win. We know the best. So, as long as it's not putting nobody in the hospital, listen to the man. That's what I say. The man always wins. If it's both parents there, I'm not gonna say nothing unless I absolutely strongly feel. Well, I know what I'm saying is right, but other than that, it'll go both ways. But if the man say this is what it is, then this is what it is. All it can do is just turn into a terrible situation if you disagree with dad.
And then well, especially with the kids, like I had to back off, like with disciplining Dean. I had to let Big Dean I had to let him take that lead, and I just totally backed off because as he's becoming a young man, I just let him take total lead and control over that. And that's just because he knows how to, he was a young boy and a young man at one time, and so that's what he needs to teach him how to be a man. I agree with Dean. I think you do have to have a lead. I think, you know what I mean? If there's something that you don't agree with, I don't think you should say you disagree in front of the kids because they will take advantage of that.
I think you should be able
Dad
to
is the
trust.
strongest.
Yeah, I think you should be able to trust your. I think you should be able to trust your spouse enough to kind of agree to disagree. And I still.
Nah, I just need this. I already got wood. I already got backwood.
I'm kind of for the man taking the lead in a lot of the disciplinary, but in most households, it's not like that, believe it or not. In a lot of households, the mother is the disciplinary. It's not always the father.
Exactly, because I discipline more than you.
Well, I no, that's not true. You are the authoritarian. Les just told you who you are. You overexert yourself when you don't need to. You do that. That's who you are. That's not me. But if I say something, I mean, if I have to speak up, that means you got to step back.
That, yeah.
I'm gonna intervene as when if I speak on it, that's it. If the father's there, speak on it. Your mother's your mother. Your father's your father. The father get last word is how I was raised, and that's how I feel. Still, I'm gonna get the last word. That's it. If I have to go there,
But he don't discipline.
I will discipline. It's a line. They don't cross the
He
line.
said I get the last word.
Kids, he don't spank them.
I
Yes,
don't have to. They care about it. That's enough for me.
I disagree with that because I think the kids. I mean, using the situation here, I think the kids know. The kids know how far to push him. They know when he's serious and he means what he says, and they listen.
Oh, that's true.
I got
It's a line. It's a line.
Oh, you a piece of shit. The cop.
Because
tell little Dean stuff. I know little Dean. I got to tell little Dean things 50 times. But if his dad hear me tell him, his dad would have to say, "Did you hear your granny?" That's it.
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
Because although we know usually the dad is like, well, for this instance, we know Dean is more of the nurturer. He's not gonna be like in your face, like, do what the
He's
fuck I just
softy.
said to do.
He is so
Right.
soft. Oh
But
my God, he's so
but
soft.
Who I
but they're
love.
not so no, mom, but they're not so naive to think that they could just run run game on him because they know the moment that his voice changed.
They know he's serious. Yeah, exactly. They know he's serious.
Right.
They know their mom is going to be like, I'm going to say it again. I'm going to punch the fuck out you. They know that.
Oh my lord, the language.
Shut up, Dre. You,
Really,
I'm
Jerry?
sorry.
and
Hey,
like I said,
why, bro? Why she didn't record yesterday's conversation, bro?
I told her. She didn't listen. But I told her. In the beginning. It's all good. How y'all doing? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to budge into y'all's thing like that.
I,
But,
we're
but I
talking
yeah, I
think,
about
told her.
we're
but I
talking about
agree.
disciplining kids.
But I agree with Dean. He doesn't discipline like I discipline, and sometimes that makes me frustrated because it's not the same intensity that I have. But I see that his method works when it comes across to his kids. But I agree. I mean, I let him have the last word.
Yeah, I think the man should take the lead because I think kids know when a when a when the discipline is
Yeah,
coming from the father, they know when the father is serious. The
yeah,
father
that's
might
true.
play around with them or something like that, but when it comes down to it, they know their limits. They know when the father means, okay, like this is it, or cut it out, or whatever. I
I don't
think
have to
kids
shoot.
You don't cross all the lines that's crossable. It's over.
Right.
yeah,
That's it. No, no more BS.
yeah,
Right.
and I think the kids know that, and I think kids in general know that. So I think
They do.
really,
I knew
I
it.
think yeah, I think the fathers should. I think the fathers should have the final say in the discipline because I think kids automatically. Not that kids don't respect their moms, but kids respect more nurture from their moms. But the kids know, when daddy sees something. When I was coming up, all Big Daddy had to do was look at us. We didn't even have to say nothing. He get that look, and we like, okay, you know.
Yeah, when they get to irritating dad and dad is upset, they already know that I done messed up real bad. Now it's serious.
Exactly.
You know, I don't think I ever got that big in my body. I'd be like, dang, I just messed up across the board. Keep going.
Well, your ass was bad, so yeah.
Hey, hey, cousin, you want to know something?
I need to change your
I was,
diapers.
I was caught a drug dealer yesterday.
You ain't no
Bro,
drug
are
dealer.
you? Oh,
Like, I was accused of selling drugs.
I thought we were
oh.
No.
you.
An
Now it
international
might be some
business.
other family members, but it ain't him.
Right. I was so hurt. I cried myself to sleep.
Hey, but a hands-on dad. If you got two parents,
Thank you,
I
Dean.
don't know if you
Thank
don't have
you.
two
Always
parents. If you got
come at
two
the right
parents, dad always gonna have the last word. If dad's serious. It's a serious situation. We already know mama don't went there, but if dad say it, you don't cross the lines. It's like that's it. Now I ain't got nowhere to go. My life is threatened. And the father, you come up in that home. I came up with mom and dad on and off, but my dad was always there. So my dad insisted, and that's just what it was. He didn't really have to go crazy. He did sometimes, but dad get last word, and all the kids respect daddy. If daddy go crazy, it's serious.
True story.
So, John, since you just got in, the question was there's 4 types of parenting. You got authoritarian, who is basically the disciplinarian. You have
Wait.
permissive.
You kind of breaking up a little bit,
Can you
or I
hear
think
me?
somebody's outside or something. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta mute people.
So you have the authoritarian, who's the disciplinarian. You have permissive, who basically lets the kid do anything. You have
Like hell.
uninvolved. You have uninvolved, which speaks for itself, and then you have authoritative, which is the nurturer. But they set boundaries.
So you're asking which one
And what do
I
y'all
am?
say I was?
You're the authoritarian / disciplinarian with a little splash of authoritative,
That
which
was a
is
lot. That's
So are
easy.
you
Feel
asking
like
what I would do?
like, what type of parent are you?
Oh, what type of parent am I?
yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes.
my kid
Oh,
will
right
never
now.
just do whatever they want to do. I don't know whose parent does that, but I think for me, I am a mix between passive and authoritative, only because it just depends on the circumstance. Now, me personally, I started from jump with Ellie. Like, I would say maybe 6 months where she knew like certain words like yes or no or inflections of one's voice to know that she was serious. Um, I didn't whoop her or anything like that because she was too young. But at the time, she just had to know that certain things were not okay, certain things were. And I
Mm-hmm.
did set the boundary straight up because if I set it too late, she may not understand it the way it was when it's time to understand it. Also, it's like a safety issue for me. Um, if if she decides to touch fire and I tell her no, but I don't tell her no, into the way that's for safety, then she may not get it. So I personally start off early to understand, not to sound like boasting or bragging. But I'm a protector of you. You have to do what I say in certain situations, and it is what it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Um, and that's just basically how my dad was. Of course, there were times where you would like get upset, huff and puff, and my mom would like calm me down or chill out and try to keep it in the house. But for the most part, he was the authority, the one who kept the authority. And yeah, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it was more for the protection side.
Okay.
Now, I have a question because Big Dean just brought this up. So there's different type of parenting to different sexes for the fathers. They treat their sons different than they treat their daughters. There's different rules applies to the daughters versus the boys.
True.
And I would like the father to speak on it.
Well,
Wait, me or him?
Well, he can speak on it first, and then you can.
Okay.
girls
Okay.
definitely have it easier. And black men in general, life is different. It's just the way it is. So we have to be a little more stern when we sincere with our kids. We have to be a little bit more stern and sincere with our men as opposed to our daughters about life-threatening situations. Our daughters are roses; they flowers. We want them to stay uh, brilliant, beautiful, and understand. We're gonna give them the game and knowledge, and we are protectors and nurturers as men. So we definitely gonna let our daughters know when we see it, but it's coming from a different type of I can't say
A
anger
different angle.
or rage, but treat your daughter a little different as far as your son go because we totally different. Black men got way more things going on with us as opposed to a black woman. Black women definitely have it easier, but we want to give them the game. People still try to run game on them, being a black woman. But you got to be sincere and more earnest with your sons and more aggressive
Hmm.
when you're trying to really get your point across with your sons as opposed to your daughters. Your daughters are they're flowers,
But do you think
delicate.
that might mess it up as far as with your daughters? Don't they
Nope.
sometimes need that
Nope.
sternness? Like
Nope,
it could
nope,
be
nope,
more a
nope,
little
nope,
bit more aggressive. They won't try to walk over you, or they won't try to
nope.
do some of the stuff that no.
No.
don't
Mm-mm.
think
And
so.
I'm gonna tell you why. It's again. I think we had a conversation about this maybe 3 or 4 sessions ago. I believe in the power of evolution. Um, as evolution changes, the human behavior changes. Um, and it's basically survival of the fittest. Okay. Um, for boys, uh, we have to be stronger on them. Like it's protection is to make sure the family is safe. And so that gene or that mentality of I need to protect my family in this way for this type of reason. For women or for girls, um, if we if we train them like boys, then we're gonna have a bunch of manly girls running around, and not and fathers and future husbands don't want that because
Right.
again, where's the line we cross? We have to show them that they are fragile and they are sensitive, and
It's
there
a
is
different.
love there. Like you said,
Yeah.
show them the game of life and watch us for these loopholes that brothers do with women, But in the discipline sense, toughen up, it's I don't think it would work because if that's the case, she's gonna grow this toughness per se that might battle another man when she gets old enough. And there's no femininity in that. For guys, like show them to toughen up in certain situations, places, because that's just how life is. And everything most likely is going to fall on a husband or on a man when everything hits. You know, it's not going to fall more on the woman per se. Does that make it a little more
Oh,
clear?
that makes sense.
That's 100%
Yeah,
right, 100% right, my
because
brother.
because then you have people that well, girls specifically, when you try to raise them in that type of manner, it's like they forget their softness and what makes them beautiful because you're trying to change their nature.
Yeah, and guys
Absolutely.
don't like hardcore women like that. They want soft, gentle, kind, soft-spoken women. I don't like
A
women
woman to be a
with
woman.
attitude. I'm sorry.
A woman to be a woman.
Yeah, a
A
woman to
woman
be
is
a
never
woman.
going to be a man. That's it. A woman's supposed to be a woman.
Soft and gentle. But if we train
Yes.
them
They delicate flowers.
in the
That's it.
mindset of a boy, if we train them in the mindset of a boy, toughen up and all that, I, I'm sorry, they might be single for the rest of their life because no man wants
Forever.
that. They don't want another bull in the house. They want a lamb. They that's it. We don't want another male lioness in the house
It's
because
true.
then it's gonna clash. And again, I think we had it in the last conversation where if there's two like alpha quote unquote like people in the house, it's gonna clash and then it gets with some
Y'all know
tendency.
how I feel about that. Y'all know where I stand on that.
Where do you stand,
What?
Dre?
Oh, I say she can be the alpha in the house. She can be the breadwinner, baby. I can be a stay-at-home
No,
daddy.
breadwinner and alpha are completely two different things, man.
Oh, you be
Yeah,
the
that
alpha.
don't have nothing to
Go
do
ahead,
with it.
be the alpha. Be aggressive. Go ahead. I'm
So
living good.
so you want to be the little old bitch and she the alpha?
You said what happened?
I said, do you want to be the bitch?
Well, let's just start there. First and foremost, that has
Bruh,
never been, never will, or ever been running through these veins. But
but I'm
just
talking
because you
about
let
you
a
want an
woman take
alpha
charge of
woman.
a household, that doesn't make you less of an alpha male.
So so
Maybe because I grew up with just my mom. Maybe that's the reason why. But that doesn't
okay.
make like.
I think women can be strong
Well,
like
yeah, I was just going to say, you can't have two men in the house. It just don't work.
Sorry.
It's a man
Yeah,
and
yeah,
a
it don't
woman in
work.
there.
it doesn't
Now,
work.
if mom is single and then she the man and a woman, I don't know that
Different
lifestyle. I didn't
story.
come up like that, but I
Different
know
story.
definitely my mother could never be my father, and my father could never be my mother. It don't work like that. A man is a man and a woman is a woman.
Granted, just
And
different times, I guess. It's all good.
Well,
and
also,
that's
there's but
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
there
sorry.
is double standards. Like for instance, I know when I was young, if I would have like a boy visiting, I couldn't take no boy up in my room and close the door. I remember I was in
Why
the
would
den.
you do that?
No, I remember I was. No, I'm just. Listen me out. I remember I was just sitting in the den. I didn't have the door closed in the den. I had it just cracked, and my mother walked by and kicked it open. You know, but then my
Hey,
brothers,
Yeah.
when my brothers got my age, they were allowed to take girls in their rooms and stuff. You know,
good
and I
girl.
wouldn't want my daughter to do that. But I don't
I
think
know who
it's
it is.
right for sons to do that either
Same guy.
in a household until they get
Ain't
established.
no girls going in my son room.
No, if it's a good girl.
I'm talking about if it's a good girl. Ain't no good girl.
The girls can't
Hey, what
have
you
no boys.
mean? You
Where's
said
the
The
there
good
ain't
girls
no
girl?
good
can't have
girls.
no boys. The girls can't have no boys, but if it's a good, respectable girl, they gonna because it's men and
Oh,
women.
no. Oh, no. Wait a minute.
Listen, the whole debate discussion is women are not men and men are not women. It is difference. It's a difference, and you got to raise and understand that. You got to put that in them. A woman is raise her to be a woman. You can't raise your daughter to be no father. That's crazy. I
I
don't
understand.
know. I
That
don't
has
know.
nothing to do with
I don't
having
know about
opposite
single
sex.
parent homes. I don't know about single. I I had my dad and mom, so I understand that. But I know one thing: I want my daughter to be my daughter and not my son.
I
I
agree
want
with
my
that.
son to be my son and not my daughter.
Okay.
And
Well, it's
and
the same
But what
thing
does that
for
have to do
like.
with
What if your son gay though? What if your son gay?
women not equal to men. Do y'all want to just? I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut the line right there.
Wait.
If they
I,
was equal to men, they can do everything a man can do without complaining. But it's
Well, I'm
God
just
that
so
saying,
set it up
I
that
know
way.
some females that couldn't outdo some of these niggas in these streets. That's all I'm saying.
Because they was
in
raised
the
by their mom.
real world, it's not
They was
always gonna
raised by
last
their
that
mom,
way. So,
and that's the truth. That is the truth.
yeah,
You got a lot of men right now.
and I think that's the downfall of like relationships is because women are trying to be at the same standard as men, and some
There
men
you
are
go.
okay submissive
No,
like
I
women.
don't.
But
I don't.
but I'm not saying hold on, Drake. What I'm saying is though, like I think this is where we talk about gender role and gender equality comes into play.
My young brother
Honestly,
died.
role is way more important than gender equality because where
John,
is the line
your
when we cross?
connection is going in and out.
Okay, I'm gonna wait just for a little bit, so wait it can catch up. Is that better?
Yeah,
Yes.
if they're not talking, they should mute. Yeah.
Okay, I was basically saying this is where I think gender roles are more important than gender equality because where is the line when it comes to gender equality? Where's the line? If we're crossing each other's lines, there is no protection either way. But if there's a border or some kind of line to say, hey, you don't cross this because I'm supposed to protect you in this. But a woman saying, no, I can cross this because I'm a strong black woman or I'm a strong woman, whatever the case. Then like, who's protecting who in this?
Who made
There's
these
no
rules?
if everyone is doing gender equality.
Or I'm
Like
just saying, who made them? Is it because we live in a time like who really made these rules and said a man had to do this and a man couldn't do this and a woman couldn't do this or a woman
Well,
couldn't do that?
I'm just look on life experience. There ain't a woman on earth can with me. Be me. It's not one. I'm a real man, and my mother is pretty tough, and she could fight and do all that, but she know her role. My father, he was a big dude too, but men are men. I never wanted my mama to be my daddy, and if
No,
she
I
had to take on that role, I'm sure she could have. No, I'm saying if you have to come up that way, it's necessary, then I understand. But in all reality, we would all be
look,
men if that's what it was supposed to be, or we would all be women. It wouldn't be two genders. It
yep,
works.
yep,
Men and
yep.
women. It works. It really works. But you can't raise your daughter to be your son and your son to be your daughter. That is it's not equal that way. It's just not the real world. It sounds good, but
well,
Ooh,
the rules
I
in
got
this,
a
the
question
rules in
then.
the house.
I got a
The
question then.
rules for me. I got the same rules. Wait a minute, hold on. I got the same rule. My son ain't having no hoochie mamas in his room. Let's get that clear. Now, if daddy at home, and it's not under my radar, it's not in my control at the moment.
No, it's no nasty little girls on it. But if it's a good educated,
No, because they can, no.
well,
I feel they are, everybody needs to. Ain't no doors closing, ain't none of that freedom going on.
well,
Be a
that's
little
different.
cousin.
That's
My
the
daughter,
lack of
and they
customer
can come
service.
for my son.
Cousin, she educated. That's all that matter.
She ain't going in my son's room.
Don't act like that. His back might hurt.
Right there at the kitchen table. Right at the kitchen table.
His
Or in
back
my
might
son's room or my living room. No.
The girls definitely can't have no boys going there.
So here's my question
Wait,
then.
but
I'm
a
gonna
boy
flip
can
the
have a
script.
girl in there?
That's basically what
Wait,
they're
what?
His
saying.
attitude is,
At the right age, yes, the boys first. But
Okay,
yeah,
we
the
want
girls
everybody
definitely
to
know.
be right.
exactly.
You goddamn engaged and married.
So here's my question then. Now that we understand the father's perspective, from the mother's perspective, why does the mother baby the son more than the daughter?
Oh
I
my God.
don't.
Daddy's so
My
hard on
mama
him.
didn't.
I whooped him more than I whooped Dorshan.
My mother didn't do that, so I don't have that perspective. I didn't get that.
But
My
I
mother
whooped
is.
Dorshan. I'm tougher on him. And that's just because
My brother's
I know what I don't want him to be. I know I don't want him to be no failure. I know I want him to be a go-getter. But I treat my kids, all three of my kids, I have to treat differently because you guys all have three different personalities.
She's saying you soft on.
I'm not soft
Yeah.
on Dean. You think I'm soft
So
on
no.
know.
So
I-
how about this then? Between me and Dean, who are you harder on?
Dean?
No.
No.
You think I was harder on
She looked
Alexis?
at
I
you
do.
like that's a lie and 3/4.
Really?
You asking me?
How was I harder on you?
I think you was hard. Yeah.
So you think I was hard?
But Lex, you the first child, so
I was
always
gonna
have.
say,
I was a guinea
I
pig.
definitely think hard on you than him.
I would say this. I learned a lot because I had you at such a young age. I learned
Right.
so much by raising you, and I was kind of growing up myself. And then my biggest fear, I was so hard on you because my biggest fear is I did not want you to make the same mistakes as me. And so that was my insecurity inside, like, oh, I got to be harder. She can't do this. She can't do this. She can't. You know what I mean? And I learned from that, though.
But I say this too: your little brother is a lot. Understand leave your mom alone. You will confront your mom.
Yeah, he don't fucking
run. You had him up of a mouth. You would stand there and say your piece. You don't care. You. He is still walking. She. So it's a little different, but I think she's hard on you for sure. I know. I'm looking at it. So,
But yeah, I mean, but I think because that was my first child, and I was just
I
like,
understand.
but I don't think it was a male or female thing. Now, like when you take the two of Dean and Dorjani, I'm harder on Dean.
Yeah,
I'm way harder on him.
I agree.
I messed Dean up. Like he gets these.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's true.
I think there's
It's
somewhat
totally
of a
opposite.
downfall. I think there's somewhat a downfall when mothers go too hard on their sons, because what might happen is they might develop a lack of communication with another woman when they get older.
It's kind of true. It's kind of true.
No,
I could.
here's the reason why. I have a friend in Los Angeles. His mom only took care of him by himself. She is very expressive with her words, and her inflection, her words are very aggressive. And because she's like that, just her personality, he shuts down too much. Now we understand that a lot of times Black boys who don't have fathers, and the mother has to like do something to raise him right, but it's harder because she doesn't necessarily know how to help him harness his anger or express him in the right way. So what starts happening when he gets older, he's gonna meet another aggressive type of woman and doesn't know how to express what he needs to express the right way, because all he heard was an aggressive tone woman, and he
Right.
had to,
Well, that
I guess,
makes sense.
shut his voice down. Not necessarily intentionally, but he understood the woman authoritative part,
Right.
and that's why it's harder
Don't let them
for
talk.
break out of that
You're right
habit.
on that because it's been
Of,
proven that most of your serial killers and so forth, they had a they really hate women. And once a lot of your rapists, they hate women because of
I
the
don't know.
relationship
I
with
wasn't
their
raised
mother.
in.
with their mother, yes, yes.
That's
Their
been
mother
proven.
treated them bad or whatever the case,
Yeah,
and
and that's been proven.
talk to them any kind of way, and that's why they have a hard time. Well, for the peaceful kind of people, have a hard time
Oh,
communicating with a woman in their way. I'm going to be completely honest with you. My mother is not over the top like yelling, but she raised me to a certain extent where I wasn't comfortable with it, and my dad is soft spoken. So there is this battle of trying to understand and communicate to a woman that is effective. That way we both can grow and learn, or just be passive. And it's a struggle for men, especially who are in a single parent home and a mother was taking care of him. And that's where the communication in terms of a black family gets broken. Because of lack of communication or lack of a father trying to help communicate with his son. And even vice versa. If you think about it, if a father is too hard on his daughter, she becomes very afraid of men. In that case, and she wouldn't want to be with a man who's hard spoken and want somebody who's quote unquote softer than her. And it's hard to read that. So it kind of goes on both ways. But to
Yeah,
answer the
well,
I
question,
think you got that right, bro.
yeah,
I
that's
think
yeah,
true.
you got that.
I think I think about anybody, whether you're male or female, to figure out how their psyche is and the way they
There you
are. You
go.
got to go to the beginning, and the beginning is, how they were raised and how they grew up. And I think that's with anybody to really figure somebody out and how they are and why they're the way they are. You got to go back
hmm
to the beginning.
the
okay. So,
very
Mama, I
beginning.
want you to answer the question. So, why were you softer with my brother
You think
than me?
so, but no, you think so, but that's not true. You think about
Yes,
it.
you
How
I
did.
many
know that.
whippings? No, listen.
Everybody
How many?
know you were soft.
No, how
I
many
don't.
whippings
I,
did you
I'm
get in
new to
your
this family
lifetime?
kind of thing here right now. I don't know anything about
No,
this.
how many
Ooh,
whippings did you
I
get in
need
your
the
life?
tea. I need the tea. Let's do
We're not
this.
No,
talking about whippings. We're
no,
not
I'm
talking
just,
about whippings.
but I'm
We're
stopping there.
talking about you were softer on rent. Like when it was time for me to get a job, you told me, and I just was not a tough love. You better fill out application out yourself. When it was Randall's turn, you was at work filling out his applications for him. It's a difference.
No, it
Do I need
wasn't
to
because I
read
was softer
this
on him.
question?
You know what? You know what it was? It wasn't
That
because I
is
was
being
softer on him.
soft.
No,
Hold
Isn't
on,
that
you
being
gotta let
soft?
people
Be
finish.
honest.
Mom, you have
No, from a man's
mom,
perspective.
you're not.
Hold
mom,
on.
you gotta let
Dean.
people
Dean been
finish their
around
point.
22 years. Isn't she softer on her son than me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're
You
not
gotta
letting me.
let people. You gotta let people express themselves because
But
we're
you're not
talking
letting me
over each other.
explain my
So let
reasoning.
her
You're
explain her
talking.
side and
You're
you
you're
respond.
saying what I said. I was. It's not that I was softer on you. You were 100 times more capable than Randall, and that's just the way it was. You were 100% more
I'm
capable
telling
than Randall
Randall.
will ever be. You are.
Dre, don't be petty like that. Why you gotta start the mess?
And so
What?
Randall,
I had to try to help him fill out applications and stuff because
Hallelujah.
Not that he couldn't do it, but Randall just,
Uh,
you didn't need as much help. You didn't need me in that way. You were very
so I have
capable.
a question. I have a question. I have a question. Is it fair that children can sometimes be more slower, or I don't want to say the word slow, but slower to learn
Delayed in
things
their
and
growth. Delayed in their growth.
delayed in your growth? Cool. Than another
It
sibling?
happens all the time. It happens all the
So
time.
So isn't it fair to say, again, I'm just
Hmm.
devil's advocate,
Speculating.
that you were a little bit more advanced than your brother was, and he
Yes,
needed a
he
No.
little bit
was.
more help?
No,
Yes, she was.
my brother was a lot. What happened was I think my mom was softer on my brother for a couple of reasons. I think her main reason because she had her brain tumor when she had him.
Don't be
So she
giving
kind of
her.
missed his 4.5 years of life because she was going through a lot of stuff because she had to get brain surgery. And so she really didn't get to bond with him in the beginning. So I think she tried to make up later. You know what I'm saying? But my brother is hella smart when he wants to be. You know, he's not dumb.
When he
He's very
chooses to be.
capable, and he knows that my mom is going to be there.
But
Well,
don't you
isn't
know?
it fair that she's trying to make
But
up for
listen.
it?
But don't you know? I would be there for
Okay.
you too, though. You don't think I would be
Oh
there?
no, you'll be there for me. No, you would. No, I'm not saying that you wouldn't. No, if I ask you for anything, you always will give it to me. That's
That's what
no,
I'm
but what
saying.
I'm talking about is no, but what I'm saying is if he would have got that, maybe he would have been pushed more if you would have treated him, made him be more independent, or
with
what?
the same sternness, right?
Yeah, with the same sternness, he may have been more independent.
Well, yeah, and I agree with that. But at the same time, your dad was more involved than his dad.
Right, that's true
Your
too.
dad was
Yeah,
your
Right,
and
dad
I
was
was,
way more.
yeah,
Your
Okay.
dad
I
was
was just gonna
So
say yeah,
there's the
that's
root.
true.
I was gonna say a man and a woman together raise the child. It's a difference, and I see it because I got both. Well, I had both parents, and I can see the difference in my family and friends with one parent or with both. And those with two, we more even keeled. We understand life a little more younger, and when we get older, we're a little bit more seasoned or well balanced, not seasoned, just
your
well
dad was
balanced as
yeah,
far
your
as
dad
with
was always more way
women
more
and men.
involved than Reggie. I mean, he would take your
Right,
dad
no,
would
that is
take
true.
you. Yeah, it is because your dad would take you. He wouldn't consider it babysitting because he said you can't. Your dad's the type of man you can't babysit. There's no such thing as babysitting your own child. That's the way your dad looked at it. If
Right,
Randall was to go see Reggie, oh, I got to babysit my son this weekend, and he would like take him, and then he like, okay, we'll do this and that, but okay, you got the house to yourself because I'm going out to the club later on. I'll be back, and I'll.
This sounds like a Tyler Perry movie.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Yikes.
your dad was way more involved, 100%
no,
more
that's
involved
true.
than Reggie was.
So yeah,
That's
it's it all dwindles down back to the responsibility of the father at this point, or it sounds like.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's a big influence whether it's a daughter or a son.
that makes sense.
Because
That's absolutely true.
Yes.
You need the
Hmm.
right.
man and the woman.
You do. You
You need the
need
man and the
that
woman.
father figure.
And again, it's nothing to bash mothers about for any reason. There's nothing to bash it, but I have learned influence from a male, specifically a father, is very important for both children, daughter or son, regardless of the situation. And if he's not there, there's something missing. Always
Or she.
something missing.
They need
Or
both
she,
parents.
or
Hmm.
she, or she. And and it even goes the same way if a son or daughter is missing their mother, because or a father is always so tough. They need the softness. So
They need
that's
moms. I like women. So mom. So right.
You can tell a lot about a person based on their relationship with their parents, whether both
true.
parents were involved or not. If you were
True.
a
True.
female and you had an absent dad, you're going to view things in a certain way. You're probably going to most likely have trust issues because your dad
Yep.
wasn't around, your dad wasn't there. And so you're going to have some trust issues when it comes to men. It's like if you're a guy and say your mother, your mother was always out partying and that's all you've seen. You're going to look at women like hoes. All women are
But
hoes.
but y'all generation was partiers.
Yeah, we were. We were. Yeah, we were. But
Dean, no, because Dean started. No, when you said that, Dean started laughing. I said,
our
that was
generation,
just y'all generation.
My mom
our
was a party.
generation was part. But I'm just saying, if the mother's not around to nurture or do anything for
Right.
a son, a son's gonna look at. oh, all women ain't about shit. They hoes and this
Absolutely.
and that. That's the way they're
Absolutely.
gonna look at. That's the way they're gonna look at women, and that's the way they're gonna treat women. They gonna hoe around because they're gonna treat women ain't nothing but hoes and stuff because of
Absolutely.
their beginning.
True story.
Yeah, so I guess we all can agree that it is definitely better to have a mother and a father
Yes.
Absolutely.
co-parenting. Even yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah, because I had it, and I feel like I'm real even on that. My mom was my mom, my dad was my dad, and my mother was a woman, and my father was a man. It wasn't no
Yeah.
bumping heads on that. My mom was a woman, and my dad was a man. It was I understood that they raised me in that and in love though. I had that. We wasn't perfect, but
Yeah.
I had that role, and my mother was a nurturer. My father was a nurturer in his own way, but he was the man. It was different, like I am with my kids. It was,
And
but
that, but it also goes to show when girls don't have their fathers present, they go looking for a father figure.
Sometimes that's true because they're missing that. They're missing that.
Mm-hmm.
True story.
Or like I said, a lot of times they end up with a lot of trust issues when it comes to men. They don't trust men. They think, oh well, my dad wasn't around, so if I meet a man, they're not gonna trust him. Is he gonna leave me too? He's not gonna be around. He's not gonna be present. They're gonna look at the men they deal with in the same way, so they're gonna have trust issues.
That's true.
this is where I had a problem at with um, women today. Is I know it's a lot of single mothers. Some women put themselves in that situation, but y'all still have to understand a woman cannot be a man. It's not. I don't care what TV tell you. A woman cannot be a man, and a man
Tell them
cannot be
again.
a woman. We are different for a reason. We are different for a reason. It's a lot of things we can do the same equally, but it's a lot of things we can't. But black women in general are trying to raise their kids that I'm independent, I can do this, I'm your mama and your daddy. And that's not necessarily true. You mama, you trying to be my daddy. You will never be my daddy, but you trying to raise your child to believe you are his daddy and his mama. And it's a little dysfunction. From what I see, it's a little
Yep.
dysfunction when it come up that way. Women
And
got to just be. It was time my dad. He wasn't there 100%. He had his lapses, but he was there uh, verbally. I could always call, or he had a good word. If he wasn't there physically, my father was there for me mentally, verbally. That never financially really, but that was all I needed, just love and advice. My dad was there for that. But if my mom would have tried to be him and her, mom and dad, it just don't work, y'all. I don't know. I'm not trying to insult
I
nobody,
I agree
uh,
with that. I
opinion
agree with that
nobody.
because I agree with that because one
Yeah.
thing I don't like that some black women tend to do that are single parent or co-parent, whatever. I don't like, and I see it a lot. I don't like when women use their kids against the man they're not with. I dated.
Say it again. Say it again.
I don't like that. I in the past, the person I'm dating now, we've known each other for 30 years. In the past, when we used to date before, when he lived out here, him and his wife were divorced, and what she would do, she was fine if she was dating somebody else. But as soon as she wasn't dating something else, she played kid. Oh well, the son needs, your son needs some cough medicine, and so you got to go
Mm.
50 miles to get the son some cough medicine, which you know you're gonna do because you love your kids, and that's. But I don't like when women play games with men
It's not
It's
right.
called manipulation, basically.
and use it's manipulation and use the kids. It's kind of, and sometimes some women they don't want you, but they don't want nobody else to have you. And I don't
And it
like
messed
when
up the child. It messed up the child in the long run
it
because
does.
everybody not gonna deal with that. The hell with it. Everybody not gonna deal with it. You're gonna be a single parent, and that was my point. You're gonna make yourself a single parent and have to step into that role. I'm your mom and your daddy because you done ran daddy off with ridiculousness. Everybody not
Yep.
gonna deal with that. Then you brainwash your child and believe that that's right and that's okay. Because that's how you was raised, baby. But you know you was wrong the way you did that to your child.
Yeah, I don't like when women say, like one thing. I don't care how mad I might have been at my kids' fathers. I never said, oh, your daddy ain't shit. Your daddy about this. Your daddy. But a lot of women do that, and I
Yeah,
think
I don't do
that's
that.
wrong.
Well, I always had an
Yeah.
attitude where I would let my kids come up with their own mind of how they look at that other parent.
That's the way it's
I
supposed to
let
go.
Alexis do. I ain't never talked bad about Alexis' father to her. I figured as she gets older, she will figure that out for herself because I want her to have her own opinion and not my opinion because it's not
I would
fair.
beg I would beg to differ, but I think it did shift as I got older and was able to define my own
I talk
relationship.
bad about your dad to you.
Yeah. But he talked bad about you to me.
What?
So it's like it went from both, but I think that's
Oh
just
Jesus. Oh,
I
damn.
think
I
that
ain't never
came
talked bad about you to your. I ain't never talked bad about dad to you
Let,
when you were little or when you were a teen.
let it explain itself.
No, that's not true.
okay.
I'm laughing at that.
You heard me talk bad about Solomon. So
No, no, no. I
I
just
was
said
gonna say you was here
all
most of
I
our
said.
lives.
I'm laughing. I, it's bad about me. I don't care. Point is, we philosophize and everybody think. I just think that black men, we all got to play our part, but men be men. Let dad be dad, mom be mom. I don't think no parent needs to talk bad about no parent. I've never talked bad to my kids about their mothers. Mouth shut and let them see like what Natasha just said. That's the way I believe. Just let them see for themselves. And my kids don't got grown. They've seen, Dad, you was right. You ain't never lied, Dad. Well, they grown though.
Yeah.
But I never threw that out there. You see it grown.
I don't remember
I
ever
don't
talking
know.
bad about a Solomon to
I never heard
Alexis.
you say nothing bad.
I
I'm
was
just
gonna
laughing
say
because I heard you say bad stuff.
what did I say
How
bad
you
about?
run your mouth? You get mad. You the
No, that's not
authoritarian.
true.
You get upset, honey. You got a little
No,
attitude.
no.
A little bit.
Yeah, but anyway,
Oh,
that's one thing I do not like about what and it's been going on for
I
centuries.
don't know.
I just don't
Listen
like
to him.
I just don't like when women, especially women, use their kids to either try to, to try to manipulate the father. I don't think that's
I think it's because they're hurt. And because them being hurt and knowing that a father would show the love that she wanted for his kids, she's trying to get back at him because the lack of love she was not receiving from the father. I guess it's intimate, right? Because there's some kind of parenting intimacy with a child that a child can feel. And, a mother, or in this case, the relationship, she probably wanted it. But in order for her to express this pain, she uses her child as a pawn. Basically, a pawn to get her way for him to understand you still hurt me, and I'm going to hold on to this until you do such and such. And a lot of women will do things in order to get married to the guy, and then it end up becoming a miserable thing because he's not happy. But in order for him to see his children, he has to, you know, tie down the knot with his baby mother just to be happy to see his kids. And I think that's wrong. To trap somebody
It's definitely
because
wrong.
of work out,
Yeah.
and
but dads do that too, though.
No, 'cause y'all have
But
all
dads
kinds of
get mad and get attitudes if the mother has moved on. There's a lot of dads who be bitter, and if the mother has moved on and don't want to fool with their children either.
But that
don't,
goes back to being a black man. and the world against us. Not only the world against us, but then you really want to be with your child. It don't matter if we want to be with you or not, but you using the white man and his child support, and you know I'm making, let's just say $1,700 a month, and you're getting $800 a month. You know what I'm making. Why would you take $800 and try to stop me from living and moving on since you moving on? Why we can't co-parent and everybody be there? Women use the system, black women especially in the past. It's a lot go into that dynamic. What you're saying is what
The
I'm trying to
system
express.
itself is for
It's a lot
women
more.
and their child. And now,
It's for pro. Right, right. They know that, and they know that.
but
Yeah,
now
I
they're coming
agree.
to a point where men are actually fighting back for their children because they
Yeah, because
know that some women are using the system to get to be lazy. I'm just put it that way. Be lazy.
yeah, because I know a situation where a couple divorced. They had boys, and one of the younger boys getting a little bit of trouble. The father remarried, and the mother didn't want the father. I mean, didn't want the kid to go visit the father because she was mad, even though she had remarried also. But she was mad because the father had remarried and didn't want, like,
Ooh, that's
no other
selfish.
raising my kid and all like that. And the boy ended up getting in
Ooh, that's
trouble.
selfish.
But that happens.
That's
Yeah,
selfish. That's
It
beyond
happens
extremely
selfish.
in my
selfish.
generation.
Extremely
A lot in
selfish.
my generation where you want to see the father on his knees, and I don't know why you would want to see your baby daddy, looking at his worst, doing at his worst, and then insult him and make your kids think that's okay. Look at your sorry ass daddy, and you know you the one hurting.
And I
You
think
know,
nowadays,
you
like
know
I
he's
said the
a
other
lot
night,
better.
I think you guys, younger guys, are doing a little bit better job at, like, fuck that, I'm gonna be involved with my kid. You guys
Straight
are,
up. Straight
yeah.
up.
I think you
I don't
guys
know
are
if
Straight
y'all
up.
more,
know, but I'm proud. I'm part of that movement.
yeah.
Black fathers, man. I'm part of that. That's
Well,
what we
yeah. I
supposed to
think
be. That's,
I think now fathers
Yep.
are more, fuck that. I'm gonna be involved in my kids' life. I'm gonna be there for my kids. My kids gonna always know that I'm present and available to
Yep.
them when they need me. And where years, I think more so years ago, if the father kept getting beat down, beat down, beat down by the mother, a lot of times they were just like, I'm not, they trying to take all my money. I'm not trying to put up with this bullshit.
I'm from that
They
generation. Fuck that bitch. Excuse my French. Fuck that bitch and them kids. I come from that. I got 75% of my friends didn't raise their kids. Fuck that bitch and them kids. Them ain't my kids. And I stood strong and stood tall and through all that. But 75% of my friends don't know their
Yeah.
kids. They know who they are. They don't have no relationship. They take care of them. I come from that. But my point is, I feel good hearing young bro talk. Understand because that's why I did it. My dad was there, but I felt like we got the next generation, my sons, y'all be there. Fuck all what your partner doing.
And that's why I said before when we were talking that fathers need to realize their rights. If your baby mama tripping, you take her ass to court. And they are starting to give more.
Presently, but back in the day, then it was in
Right, but I'm talking
y'all
about it was
favor
in our
though.
favor. But
Now, right.
now if the judges see that the fathers are bringing their attention to this case, they're giving fathers more custody. They're saying 50-50 custody. They're saying you have a right to this child just as much as the mother does.
But we got to get to the point where we got white people out our business.
But
We can
that's
be
the thing.
parents.
Some fathers don't want to have so-called white people in
Don't
this.
have everything just go clear and whatever. Y'all want to keep
Black
the
man
white
got
man.
too much pride.
You said he moved on, or you person. You want to break a nigga pockets. Oh, he got $400,000. I want three because I know the law. I want this nigga to lose everything. I want him to be on his knees. You don't want to
I
have
don't
your.
agree with that.
That's a lot of that
But
going on. Not you,
but
but
what I'm saying is, but what
However,
my point is, fathers do have rights. So my thing is, if you a father out there, you and the baby mama not together, and she tripping, take her to court.
Got to.
Get it in black and white and abide by that. Because if you get it in the beginning, it's going to be a lot easier for you 5 to 10 years from now when you do get a new wife and when you do have
My
a new
whole thing
family.
is hurt men or hurt women, regardless of the breakup, should agree to disagree, but let's love our child
Right.
and let's leave them out of it. Let's just do the best we can do. Make our child successful. You know, I can't give you 70% of my income. I expect you to give me 70% of yours if I had it. It's just not realistic. Let's just do the best
I
we can do to make our
personally
child
have
better.
never seen that happen.
So I know
But I lived it, my brother. I've lived it. I got
No, I'm saying,
6 kids.
uh huh.
It's real. It's real. I'm an anomaly though. I know I'm an anomaly. I
No,
try to tell her that, but it works. It works. I got an 18-year-old next week. My God, her birthday. My fourth, 18. We just found a balance. We can't stand each other, but we agreed to disagree and agree on love with her and raise her in the best we could. Just co-parenting. It can work, but it take a lot of humbleness and humility on our parts as black men because they know they had an upper edge, and we have to acknowledge that because it's true. But I don't want to just use brute force and disrespect to you and bitch hole. I could beat you up, fuck you. No, that's not the way to go about it. Listen, we got to be real. End of the day, I love my child to death. You know that. If I can't take care of myself, I can't take care of her. And if I can't take care of her, I can't be a father. I can't give her the wisdom. I can't be that shoulder to lean
yeah,
on, the good advice. You know, you just can't play your part. But it can work. But it takes a lot of taking a shit and having to.
But I think if you start the process as a child is younger, because that baby mama might become bitter if that man moves on. So
Y'all become bitter.
if you put
Right.
that on black and put it in black and white, I already got have 50-50 custody. This is the days that I get my child, and that's what it's gonna be. To save you a lot more headache in the future,
Right.
do it when they're babies. Do it when they're younger, because as that child gets older, you're gonna get more and more headache because it's gonna just be more and more drama with
Yep.
that mama. So it depends on the mom.
But it depends on the
So
mom.
here's
That's how
my
you
that's a
raise.
question then. How do you handle that situation when you do see that the baby mama or the baby daddy is being disrespectful to your spouse? When your spouse is doing everything that they're
Good
supposed
question.
to do as a stepmother. How do you handle
How
that?
do you handle that? Because we done dealt with it.
The first thing you got to ask yourself is why is he or she being disrespectful to your spouse? If it's
now
a
why you
reason,
gotta
you
take
gotta
your wine after you ask that question?
Oh no, that's
because it
Boucher. That
might
ain't
be a
mine.
reason, and it might not though. It might. Why is the first question you need to ask? Why is she disrespecting you? Why is he disrespecting you? That's the first thing. So if there is a why, then there you have it. But if there's no reason,
So how do you handle your baby mamas? Because none of them liked me at once upon a time. So how did you
Oh
handle? How did you
Lord Jesus.
balance us out?
I had to,
No, for this is a real
Put that cup
question
down,
because
Alexis.
this is real life.
I
I mean,
had
Put
now
to
the
they
cup
do this.
down,
grown.
I had
Alexis.
to do
They,
this what I just said. I had to do this what I said. Why?
because
Why?
I never did the kids bad,
No,
but you
why
do
don't
have
y'all get
bitterness.
along? Why don't
But
y'all
I
get
do
along?
get along with one. Me and her get
No, I
along.
had
We can
to I
talk
had to
every
talk
day.
to y'all. Why?
But
It's no reason
I think
because
that some of them were bitter.
women are bitter.
Um, but I think it has to be. But I mean, in the beginning,
But you
it
gotta
wasn't.
let dad be dad. And that was the end of the day. Y'all are really emotional creatures. Women
Can
are
I
women.
answer that one too?
But
Can I answer this one? If it's okay.
go ahead.
All right. So I have learned that women are very territorial to people that they have an emotional attachment to. Okay, and there isn't. I think it's in the Bible. Hell has no fear like a woman scorned. And when it comes to children like this, uh, it it's bound to happen. And again, I'm kind of in the same situation with my like um she in the beginning, of course, she made a mistake, but the responsibility was to take care of the child first. I let that be known. Her thing is she wanted to be in a relationship with me when I was not ready. Now, because she got hurt because of that, spitefulness came into play. And spitefulness can last for however long it needs to last until they feel better about it. What I understand, a lot of women don't like to let go of things, to hold it over a guy's head to prove a point, you know? And and sometimes it is going to get frustrating for a guy, especially when he tries to move on, and he won't be able to move on because he understands that some women can be very spiteful and hold certain guilt over his head for him to not move on. And I don't know your situation when it comes to all the baby mamas, but one of them may be spiteful because she saw herself in a certain situation with you that just didn't happen that way.
No, I agree with that. No, I think it definitely was why did he settle down with her? You know what I mean? I think that was a lot to do with it. I think I think the main thing is if a woman is still in love with that man, she's never going to get along with you. She's never going to get along with the mother. With the new girlfriend or
Yeah,
whatever.
because she
It's
feels
just
in
not going
place.
to work.
She feels
But
in
if,
place.
but if you but if you detach yourself, I never gave Alexis dad drama because I didn't care who he was with. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
when a woman is detached, you're just detached. You know what I'm saying? Move on. Hey, what size she wear? You know, I didn't talk to his girlfriend's girl. She is size 6 now. You know what I mean? That's just how I was with his girlfriends. But I didn't get that
Right.
same thing that with my other kids' mothers. It just wasn't like that. You know what I mean? And then it took maturity from me because it's a lot on the new woman.
From y'all.
It's a lot on the new girlfriend and the new woman
Right.
because you don't know when the kids come over. You know what I mean? What does she say to them? It's a different attitude this time. I mean, the parents really
That's the whole thing is everybody had to, and especially that if 98% of the time the children,
right,
dad just had to tell the truth, and I just want to be a dad. It ain't about
right,
us no more.
right.
But please don't destroy my son, my daughter. We can both do this. Just make sure they happen. We ain't never got to agree on who did what or how it all fell apart. But let's just be the best parent. I don't know why you don't like. I don't even care no more. But let's just focus on my son, on my daughter. Let's just do that. I want my baby, and you know that I'm gonna do my best as a father. And if the roles were reversed, I would be the exact same way. I'm never gonna take my child's mother out their life. I would never, because it take two. I had two. It's a beautiful thing to
But
have
I
them in
think
there.
it'd be a lot easier if we would have went to court and got stuff in black and white and had those boundaries. We wouldn't dealt with as much drama later on. So I always would recommend
Now I agree,
get
but
your rights. See, I'm not talking about in
yeah,
today's world.
that's right
I
though.
tell all fathers, I don't care how big of a headache it is, you go down there and get your rights. You go down there so you can have it in black and white, and that mother cannot sit there and play the game with
But
you
it
as
still does a
you gotta be their
disservice.
bitch. You gotta be their best friend in
Kids
order.
need to know y'all are cordial. It still does a
Wait, I have a
disservice.
question then. What can be done to stop relying on the court system where
There
the
you go.
family can actually
Us,
fix it how it's supposed to be? So
Well,
what
what I
needs to
can
happen so you don't have to get to that point?
what I
co-parenting.
can say is co-parenting, and also being the girlfriend, like say you're dating somebody, like when I was dating Dean and with the mothers, I did eventually get along with one mother, and then like we was all co-parents, like we knocked it out together. Like she called me, oh girl, talk to this girl. Oh, can you talk to him? You know what I mean? Where we just really tag teamed it, well, triple teamed it together on whatever issues were coming this way, and we still do to this day.
Somebody had to be the bigger
And
person.
there we go.
Yeah,
And you have to be
but
the
it
bigger
wasn't.
person.
Yeah, it wasn't always like that. How did you get to
I
that
just said
point?
it. What? It wasn't like that, but it took a lot of maturity from me too, because I had a quick time. You know what I mean? I have a quick time, and I'll say some evil shit, and I was wrong. I can actually say I was wrong for doing that. And so, looking in hindsight and looking in the past, I see the mistakes I made where I should have been more humble, and I should have backed out a little bit and just let them deal with that, and not insert myself in trying to help. Let the two parents deal with what they got to deal with.
Right.
And sometimes the
Yeah.
parents don't even have to still love the other party. It's just they just like to see the person since they didn't have them, and this goes both ways. Since they couldn't get them, they want to see them. I mean, even though they have a child together, they still want to see that other party miserable. If they can't have them, they want them miserable. A lot of
No,
times
I've
they
seen
want
that.
them miserable. And sometimes it had nothing to do with they still in love with them. It could be just like, well, I'm not gonna make it easy on that motherfucker, because we
No,
still
I
got to
can
do
see
Yep.
that.
Well,
and
well,
they
as that parent to be able to make it easier, that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to make it harder because
But
we
she's saying
can.
there's some parents that do that.
No, but it don't matter. The point is you got to find that balance
Right.
to be the best parents you can be. Just because you can hurt somebody, don't mean you should. If you know it's going to take away from
Right.
your child's growth. And
Right.
people got to just mature and grow up. And that's why I went with it. Fuck us. And you might still love me. I don't know. You might not. It don't even matter though. The whole point is we trying to be the best parents and make our child the best productive citizen and person they can be. They need to know we at least cordial and we love them. As long as you got, I don't know how I feel not to know my daddy didn't love me. My daddy wasn't in my life. Or my mother wasn't there. She didn't have a feeling, and I wanted all my kids to have that feeling. My daddy loved me. My mama loved me. Break that bond. So I always been that person. I don't care.
So what would you tell how would you tell the new dads? So say like what advice would you give, knowing what we all went through over the years? What advice would you give to a new like these new kids about how to balance that out and then how to navigate through that
You,
situation?
you gotta you gotta stand up and be a man person foremost. So you gonna have to humble yourself, and you're gonna hear lies on you. You're gonna have to deal with the new boyfriend, whatever. But it's a way. Carry yourself. Be successful. My daddy told me the best way to do it, son, is really don't do nothing at all. Keep doing what you're doing. They smelling like cologne. Keep your appearance up. Keep some money in your pocket. Keep going. Just be there. Because if you continuously every day walk it like you talk it, I mean, it's gonna fall in place. I don't mean you're gonna have all millionaires and nothing, but at least your children, you did the best you could. They're not gonna say my daddy wasn't there. I don't know my daddy. Fuck him or fuck my mama. I don't know my mama. It's your fault. Because I had my daddy. My dad never quit no matter what. My mom never quit no matter what. So you have to humble yourself. You can't just do it because it's easy to say fuck that bitch and them kids. I come from that. I ain't dealing with that shit. The bitch done took $700 out my $1,100 check. I got to pay rent. I got to do this. I got some other kids. That's
That's
not right.
tough. That's tough.
It's tough, but
That's
you got
tough.
to keep fighting. You got to keep fighting.
But that's when dads need to realize they have rights. So you can get 50-50 custody and don't have to pay $700 child
Well, you
support.
might have fucked up and been a felon. And you might have done harm. It's different situations.
Right.
Drugs, it's not. It don't always fall in our favor, and it don't especially black. But if you really don't have no sheet, it will. You'll get some custody, but people grow up. You might have been a bad dude as a teenager. Made some bad. But the point is, black men, my brothers, we got to stay strong and love your children. Fuck all of that.
But I don't
I don't
think
give a
yeah, I think you got to lay the law down. Like if you know you love your child, you got to sit that
That's
other
that.
person down and say we both love our child to the end of time. We might
That's
not.
it.
We're gonna never be together again. And if you're gonna be with somebody or not. You really do. If there's you guys might be together in the future. If you're not gonna be with that person again. You're gonna have to get together. You're gonna have to say our common interest is our child. We both love our, I'm going to respect you. I expect you to respect me. We both love our child. And what we have in common is this child. We love our child. That's not going to change. My love for my child's not going to change. Your love for the child's not going to change. And there may be a point in time in our future where one or both of us is going to move forward. But that still should not change the love that we have and the co-parenting that we're doing for our child. That's the way it's going to be. You can't
But
have.
It
some
take
mamas
both.
ain't gonna
It take
understand
both
that.
parents though. It take both parents to do that because
Yeah, I'm
it,
just
it
saying.
still goes back to the man got himself his own place, and you know what he making. Like I said, and you want to take 70% of his income, so he can't have a place. So you can belittle him now. Look at your daddy, ain't got nowhere to live. He don't come get you, or it's hard on black brothers. It
And that
is.
would be her
It's
fault.
one day at
That
a
would
time.
be
Like I
honestly
started
her
the
fault.
session, one day at a time, and that's the way I live my life. You got to just get through today the best way you could. You can't worry about tomorrow. If I'd have worried about where I was going to be today, I don't know if I'd have ever been successful. I just try to get through today the best way. Finish today the best way. Best advice I can do. Live for today, not
And,
for tomorrow. Don't
and
overwhelm yourself.
yeah, my other point about that too, about because I've been in a situation, don't give the other. I try not to give the other. I try not to give my kid's father false hope. Like, well, we might get together, in the future, or we're going to get back together. If you know that in your heart that that you want to move forward or whatever, and you're not going to get back together, don't give that other person no false hope by still, and like I said, I'm going from my experience by fucking around with them or doing whatever. We're here. I want us to be friends. I want us to get along. I want us to co-parent. I want us to respect each other, and I want us to love our child that we have
That's fair.
together. I want us to come together
Yeah.
for the betterment of our child.
But it got
And
to be love on both sides.
make sure that I didn't give them false hope.
So I have a question. As step parents, do
Mm-hmm.
you view them as your kids or do you view them as an addition?
What?
I view them as my kids.
Let me say, I view you as mine. I would never let nobody harm you. I know I can't overstep your biological dad, but he don't if you need me to. And feel that way, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. I would never let nobody hurt you, or if you was down, my doors is open because you mine. I feel like that. But that just I wasn't raised with no single parent. All I know is love from parents, hugs and kisses, and trying to talk and understand. So I didn't come from what a lot of people. I get it though. Got cousins older than me. Just now going through this shit mentally. It's a trip, but no, the love is real. So you can't take away what you lived your life. You know, always been here, shit.
What do you call her?
The monster. Yeah, but
Dang.
we'll never let nobody harm. Yeah, the monster. So it's the same. It ain't no addition.
Right.
It's not addition. Wherever I'm at, you're always welcome. It don't matter. It don't matter. Nobody can never hurt you or do nothing to you.
I appreciate that. Because I will say, the kids, I will, like, from my perspective, we don't like to be referred to as an addition, but more so that you
Yeah,
want to
because
be
you
our
seem less
kid.
significant.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you just tolerating us because by default, because you're with my mama. You know what I'm saying? Or you're with my dad. Like, that does make a difference in how you act with that person.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, because
that's
you don't
not
want
the
to
way
you
I
don't want to feel
feel.
insignificant.
What'd you say, John?
You just don't want to feel insignificant or
Yeah.
extra baggage, if that's the word she used.
Yeah.
Well, I
kind
would
of
say,
like an exception to the rule, if that was the best way to put
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
I don't think any child wants to feel that way in any family or parent. They don't want to feel like the plus one in a family that they want to have, with.
Exactly.
I would say this because sometimes we're bearing to a child either. So you have to let the child make its boundaries. You know what I mean? So because some kids don't want you to be overly motherly
or fatherly.
or fatherly.
Right.
You
You
know what I'm saying? So
But
you have to kind of
yeah,
go. You have I love all. I'll give my shirt off my back to all my kids, not
right.
leaving nobody
Hmm.
out. But you have to treat the relationship accordingly. Like if they want a tighter relationship with you, push myself
right.
on a child because it can be awkward. You don't know what's going on. It can get gray. It's a gray area.
Yeah, you can't. I can't
But what
But
if
overstep.
what
I
if
look at everybody as mine.
but what if the child is like, hey, I do want to call them mom or I do want to call them dad?
So that
Then let
happened.
them.
Remember, Destiny had it to me. So Destiny had asked me when she was like 5.
Because I remember asking you if I
And
can
was
call
it
them
5?
dad.
Right. And so I
Trey,
had to
wake up.
like, she's like, I want to call
Go
you
to
mom.
sleep.
And um, I didn't want, but I told her, I can't call you mom because you already have a mom. I cannot overstep the boundary or be disrespectful to your mother because I think she will feel some type of way. But just know that my love for you is like I'm your mother. And that was that.
Right.
And me and
But
her still have a type.
I
I
don't think
believe
it's
it.
a matter of they're putting you over their own mother. It's just if that's the type of family that you have, it's like to the child,
Just
it only
calling you a
seems
mother in
right to
itself.
call you mom
Well,
rather
I
than
think
saying,
it's. I
oh,
Just
think.
Oh,
calling you.
this
That
such and
that
such.
but
would
It's
that
like
would have never bothered me though. Honestly,
we
I
don't
I
view
just
it as we
I
don't
think you
view
should be
one
able to
greater
call them.
than. It's just
right, I know, but I didn't want it to get back to her mother, and then I have to deal with another drama
right.
situation.
Got you.
I
So
Okay,
think
that makes
it's
I'm
sense.
looking
okay.
at it at the bigger picture. I'm not gonna treat you no different. I'm gonna treat you like I treat my own blood. I don't look at you no different,
yeah,
but I'm still gonna be respectful of your mother
because the other parent could have
because
a
So the
whole.
it's gonna be
question
a whole
is,
different.
so the question is it really up to the child then if you're setting these boundaries that they can't even
Well,
do
that's
that, but
what.
you're setting
That
it up
is
to the
true.
Well,
child?
that's what I
That
like.
is true.
I like when people say Mama Jackie. I'm not their mama, but a lot of people say Mama Jackie or Papa, Papa Carl or whatever the case may be. And
That's
then huh? Or
I
Papa or
said that's
whatever they want to call it. But I think nowadays it's so easy to kind of have other little names for that second parent. They don't have to be called mom. They could be, like I said, I've called by a lot of kids Mama Jackie. I'm not their mom, but it's a matter of still of respect that I view you like a mother. You're like a mother to me. And so I think it can be. I think the situation can be settled with something as simple as that. They might not call you. Um, they might not call me Mama, but they call me, oh, Mama Jackie. Mama Jackie. Willie calls Mom Grandma. And no
I
disrespect.
understand that, but the reason why I didn't do it is because I didn't want drama to come to backlash on it.
Hmm.
but
And
it
I
is
knew that would happen.
but it is about
Because
the child, right? Like we
It
said.
is about the child. However,
You gotta,
if it's
you
if
gotta remember
it's
the
going,
egos.
Yeah.
and okay, and your dad, your biological dad, could have actually had a problem with that and wanted to fight me
right, it just
about
depends.
doing that.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have had a problem with it though. But I mean, I don't know how that went down with you and your mom, but I wouldn't have had a problem with it. But I knew as a father, I can't just overstep because I know the nigga alive and here. They have a relationship, but I love her too. But
But I think at the
where
end of the
we
day,
at? It ain't.
it's not their business what you call your parent's spouse and their household. They can't control that.
I
So
gotta interject on that one.
And you know
Yeah,
why
they
you
do.
saying that?
Yes,
Because you
they
ain't got no
can.
kids, Lex. When you
huh?
have a
Yes, they can.
child,
Wait,
Lex,
wait, it's,
shit gonna change.
wait. I think it's just more of an ego thing at this point. This is an ego thing for parents because it sounds
Yeah,
like they're
it
just
is.
getting replaced because the child is saying
Right.
daddy to someone who never gave them, who never like took the work to get them there, or mother, or
Exactly.
whatever the case. So it's an
It is.
ego and pride thing that the parents got to get over because again, I
Mm-hmm.
think the child would should automatically know this is my mom, this is my dad. But because of the circumstances, this person needs me as a second dad, second mom. I can
Yes.
still call you mother or and I think the problem is what's going to cause a division is because the parents think that the opposite person influenced their mind that may not have been the case. It's just
And I
knowing that
think, yeah.
there's two mothers who love me and want to take care of me, and there's two fathers who are loving me and taking care of me. I just know when I go to this house, I'll call him dad, and when I go to your house, I'll call you daddy. They're still the same like characteristics of taking care of me. It's the parents' fault that had this big ego saying, no, you can't uh call him mommy or daddy because
Right.
they didn't raise you at the
Exactly.
same time as I did. And I think that's dumb because again, it takes a village to raise a child. It doesn't just take two people. It's gonna take a bunch of us.
Exactly.
That's included on all of that. So I just think it's an ego thing. Like again, if it comes to like if my baby's mother decides to go, with somebody else and she calls him daddy, it doesn't faze me because I know I have been there and I'm always going to be there. I'm always going to be the dad. It's just because she's at her house. It's a relationship.
I feel like the
It's a
only way you would
relationship
be butthurt is it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like the only way you would be butthurt is if you felt some type of guilt that you weren't present.
that I wasn't there.
If
Literally, if I wasn't there, and if I wasn't there at all, and she called him daddy, I would feel some type of way. But of course, it's just the guilt thing. But I've been there. I'm
Mhm.
not tripping. I know I'm daddy. Just check my Instagram. Like it's nothing. It's nothing to it.
well, I
It's
agree.
gonna
I agree
fall
about
into
35% of the way you what you saying, but I don't know about that because I'm gonna be there enough for my kids not to be able to call. Nobody else can't call you that. You can't do it because I'm there that much. I'm in your life enough.
So you would
Mhm.
have a problem with your kids calling somebody else dad.
I think I might. I don't. It never happened because I was made sure that didn't happen. I love my so that's what I'm saying. I was
Maybe that's a
there. I
generational
made that
thing.
was like one of my biggest. That was like one of my biggest fears.
But
I gotta be because
can
mine
I
is
ask you a
mine.
question? Can I ask you a question?
But
Can I
you,
ask you
you
a
like
question?
75% right. It's an ego thing
Can I
too.
ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question too? Okay.
Go ahead.
Have you been there in your children's life? Have you been there in your child's life?
Like we can't hear you.
It broke up.
I was saying, have you been in your children's life? No.
Yes. No, I
Yes, you
have.
have. And, yeah, and are you questioning your fatherhood?
Oh no, that's why I'm saying this. I agree with what you said. I'm trying to put myself in that role if I wasn't there. Would it be acceptable? It kind of got to be though. That's why I'm saying I kind of agree, but I stay relevant
Yeah,
because I never.
yeah. If I'm there, my fatherhood is proof in the pudding. So
Right,
again,
right.
it,
So that's why I'm saying I agree.
I
I
think-
agree.
again, I
I
get it.
agree.
I know. I get it though. Like it is a protective of your identity. I completely understand it.
Right, the
I
ego.
just know
Right.
for me,
I
I
guess
know for
so.
me, my identity is solidified because I was there when you came out of it, and I've been there since. So it's not gonna hurt my ego personally because again I've been there. My proof is in the pudding, and it's not going to expect us to love her. And there are people who are there who's willing to protect her. Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like I'm more of a protector than he is because that's why. But I'm not going
Right.
to take that
Absolutely.
title away from him.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to take that title away from him if he is treating her right and protecting her if I'm not there. That's the only way I can see that.
You got a good point, but the only place where I just got a little bit of differentiation is because I never lived that though. If you are a present father, it's no room for to call nobody else dad. It's just no room for it though.
That's true.
But if you are
Yep.
absentee father, if you're absentee father and part time, you leave a room. You leave a room for that. So
Mm-hmm.
great area. That's a hell of a line though. I ain't gonna lie. But I try to make sure no room for my kids to be able to call nobody else dad. I
That's
prided
fair.
myself on
That's
that.
absolutely fair.
My dad was around enough to, he was around enough. And anybody with me though, it's still, you minds though. Like I said, Lex, I would die for her the same way for my other kids. I wouldn't let nobody harm her. I wouldn't let nobody harm her, do nothing to her. It's the same thing, but I came from a different generation. I didn't want to overstep my boundaries neither, because they had to go through her mother. It's a great area. That's like it's a great area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think there would be so much more clarity if you have an insecurity about the kid calling the step parent dad or mom, then why not ask the source itself? Like, hey, do you feel like I'm present and active in your life? Because that seems to be the concern of if you're present or a protector or provider. So if you're worried why your child is calling their step parent mom or dad, shouldn't you ask the child where it's coming from so they can learn to have their own?
Right. It got to be some communication. Yes.
It's not gonna happen. It's not. That's the way it should happen, but it's not gonna happen because I'm gonna tell you how bitches are. I'm not talking to that bitch. Fuck that. That's the way they act. What am I gonna talk to? I don't want to talk to your bitch. What am I gonna talk to your bitch for?
And the dad
That's
be
my
like,
child. That's the way women are. That's my child. What I gotta talk to the bitch for? I ain't gotta solidify nothing with that bitch.
I'm not saying with the step parent. I'm saying with the child.
No, the child itself.
Yes,
with the child.
how the child feels. She got it right there.
Yeah, if the father finds out that the child is calling their step parent dad, ask the child why.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking
That's
about.
what I was saying.
I thought you were talking about asking the other woman or asking.
No, that's a hot mess waiting to happen.
No.
That's a no.
That's a fight waiting to
That's a
happen.
no.
Abort.
That is a big no because that's exactly what they're gonna say. And your child, your child might not feel comfortable really telling you the entire truth. So it's hard to put
that is true.
It's hard to put a child on the spot like that. It really is.
But then you need to look at the dynamic of your relationship because a child should feel comfortable enough to go to their parents and express themselves. So that needs to be self-reflection.
Not all the time.
That's the way. Yeah, it should be, but that's not the way it is. That's not reality, Alexis. That's not
reality at all.
I didn't say it was reality. I'm saying why not address that? If your child doesn't feel comfortable talking to you, why not ask? Like sometimes
I'm gonna tell you why. Because if they were alive during the whole split up of parents, there's going to be a lack of communication anyway. They have seen their parents fight. So if there's going to be some kind of step down somewhere between a stepfather, stepmother, mother, or father, somewhere in there is going to be a shutdown. There's going to be lack of communication. So again, if the father has been there, to me, it shouldn't hurt their ego because the proof is in the pudding. And if the stepfather decides to assist the mother, still be a father figure when dad was not around like that or was like working or whatever the case, and he or she called him dad, it's a comfortability because, hey, God, protect you. But again, if you have person because your child was hurt, then it's going to make the child feel like guilty for calling somebody a protector, dad, in this situation.
Okay.
And also,
And it makes it seem
I think it should be solved by if you're in a step parent relationship. I don't think there's anything wrong with like calling the others, like calling the stepdad pops, or Papa Dean, or whatever you want,
yeah,
whatever,
something different.
something different.
Something different.
I think that's the way you kind of solve that, or like they call you
Yeah,
Mama
yeah,
Tasha, Mama Tasha, or
yeah,
moms, or anything,
yeah.
You're putting so much responsibility on the child for your own ego. That's crazy, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
well, I think because
Yeah.
when you approach this type of situation, that other parent is going to automatically think that you forced that child to do that. It's just going to be an automatic assumption of you trying to brainwash their child to call somebody else another name because they're going to make you out to be this bad person and you trying to get back at them. It's going to blow up to what it's really not. And it was really just an innocent gesture of that child seeing motherly values in you, fatherly values in that, and the man. It's just that child being innocent. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that other parent will automatically assume, oh, you forced my child to say that. And it's just a big, I mean, depending on your circumstances, depending on your co parenting situation, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be some drama behind it if that other parent ever finds out.
And,
Yeah, I agree.
and,
I
and,
believe it. I'm not disparaging it. I believe it. But then who you getting mad at? The child is in it or can't?
And I think also it's easier, like say you end up marrying, I mean, if you're married to that, especially if you're married to that person, there's other kids involved, more likely and if the other kids, around and involved in the family a lot, eventually they probably are going to call you like Mama Tasha or Pops or whatever. They're not going to probably call you Dad or something like that, but I can see them calling you like Pops, Moms, something like, like not maybe like mommy or mother, but they might call you moms or something like that. Address you by a different name, but you still have that term of endearment. You know.
Who's to tell the child what they can call them, though? Why are there limitations? It's all the
Well,
same thing.
yeah, but it's going to be. I mean, I don't think there's
It
limitations.
basically
I
is
mean, I
an
think
ego thing. It's an ego thing.
it's because like Dean and what Jonathan was saying and Tasha was saying, you're gonna have issues. I mean,
Right.
that's just the way. That's just the nature of it. That's just the nature of it.
Okay.
And call it insecurity, jealousy, or whatever the case may be. But you're gonna have issues. And
Right.
I've
People
heard
are
plenty of men. I've heard plenty of men say, my kids ain't calling another motherfucker daddy. I've heard plenty of men say that. And I've heard plenty of women say it. And I've seen women try to push their child to call another man daddy, but it's mainly just to get back at the father.
Yep. That is true.
Okay.
That is true. So yeah. I'm gonna have to get off the call because I do have to get to work tomorrow. At like
Yeah.
See, I
7 in the
gotta
morning.
get off too because I
There's,
got
we know. We know.
okay,
Go
bye.
ahead. Go ahead. Your phone
All
call.
right. Just let me know when you